What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos, and welcome to my live stream. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. I'm coming to you live from my basement here in good old West by God, Virginia. Wild and wonderful, almost heaven. West Virginia punter Tyler Sumter is supposed to join me on here tonight. He hasn't arrived yet, but he's probably running a little bit behind, which is okay. It happens. So hopefully he'll jump on in a minute. But what I want to talk about, I'll start off with asking, if anybody wants to throw some comments on, what do you think about the Lady Brown sitting out the bowl game, and what do you think about players sitting out bowl games in general? I want to get everybody's thoughts on that because that's going to be one of the topics of discussion. I want to pose to Tyler tonight if he's able to hop on. I also want to catch up and see what he's up to and what he's got brewing as far as life after football, because I know he's a senior and he'll be done after the bowl game. And let's see what I want to see what he's got planned. I know he's got some stuff brewing, so hopefully he'll be able to join us. I told him I sent him all the info, so we'll see. But anyway, and I'm also going to do a little call-in show here later. The way I'm going to do this call-in, I've only got one number to call. So anybody who wants to call in, I'm probably going to wait. If Tyler hops on, I'll probably wait until, I get through having a conversation with him before we start taking calls. But I'll take like anybody who wants to call in to put it in the comments. And then I will write your name down on a raffle ticket. Anybody who wants to call in, I'm going to write your name down on a raffle ticket. I'm going to stick that ticket in his hat, stick the tickets in my hat, and depending on time, we'll, draw 2 or 3 of them out, and then that's who we will take out, and then I'll give you the number, and that's when you'll be able to call. At least that's the plan. Hopefully it works out. So what do you guys think about I'm going to give you my thoughts while we're waiting on Tyler to hop on here. I've kind of been up in the air on all this. I've kind of been up in the air on players missing bowl games. It didn't used to bother me, and I thought it. I totally understood the guys, especially if it was a bowl game that didn't really mean a whole lot, one of the lower tier games. But now guys are starting to miss New Year's Day games. I think bowl games have just been watered down so much by the college football playoff and by the media putting so much emphasis on the college football playoff that it's watered down the bowl games. And it's caused people not to be interested, which has caused players not to be interested, which has caused them to sit out games in order to get ready for the NFL or whatever that next step is. And it didn't used to bother me because I said, well, I understand it. And then I heard I was on a live stream with some guys last night, and they made some good points. Number one, if you're a running back and you're looking to go to the NFL and you decide to sit out that bowl game, what about those offensive linemen that are blocking for you every day? They don't they don't sit out the game. Shouldn't you be there for those guys to try to win that game? What about the seniors? Even if you're a senior, what about the other seniors on the team who aren't going to be able to play in the NFL? That game, that's their last hurrah. That's their last chance to get out there and win a game in that uniform. And if you sit out, if you're one of the top players, especially, and you sit out, it can impact that game and that person's last game as a member of that team. And and plus, too, you look at it from a fan's perspective. Fans buy tickets to these games as soon as they go on sale. And then, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, top players start deciding they're going to sit out the game. And I just don't think and then that fan either, it devalues the ticket that they just paid a crap load of money for. The ticket value of the ticket drops, so they've overpaid for their ticket. And 2, it may make the game less interesting. Let's be honest. Especially for example, let's take the Michigan State Pitt game coming up. It's a Peach Bowl game, New Year's Six bowl game. Each team's best player, Kenneth Walker, Kenny Pickett, both guys sitting out the game. That's your two stars. That's the two guys most people are coming to watch. Two Heisman candidates. And both of them are sitting the game out. Now a lot of fans may decide they don't want to go to the game now. Yet they've already bought a ticket and may not be able to get rid of it. So, I mean, there's just so many things that irk me about it. I know there are many people who disagree with me, but I think it's a little bit selfish, to be honest with you. Now, I know the players don't owe the fans anything, and I don't mean it that way, but I think for their teammates, they should be out there playing. And I think the NCAA or the conferences or the bowls or somebody needs to do something about there needs to be some incentive for guys to play in these games, or a disincentive, for lack of a better term, for if they decide to sit, they should lose something. I don't know what it is, but there needs to be something to deter. I've even said that maybe they should have a set date that they need to declare by that they're going to sit. But even if they don't hit that, they can't, you still can't stop a guy from sitting out. If he wants to sit out, he just don't show up. I mean, there's not really – so I think there needs to be some incentive for guys to play. Maybe NIL money comes into play. Whatever bowl it is, they give the guys some NIL money to play in the game. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas here, spitballing. But something needs to change, man, because us fans, if your team's not in the CFP, you're really looking forward to watching these bowl games, man. And you spend your time, your money. Sometimes people take vacation days off work to go to these games, and then the players don't play. It's just disappointing. It really is. And there needs to be a solution, I think. I don't know what it is. That's up to the NCAA and the conferences and the powers that be to figure it out. Maybe the bowls. I don't know. But somebody's got to figure it out. Because I just think it's a bad thing for college football. For guys to be, especially your star players, to be sitting out bowl games. I just don't think it's good at all. Still haven't heard from Tyler, guys. I hope he hadn't forgot about us. I don't really know. I only have one way to get in touch with him, and he's not responding. So hopefully he's just running late. If anybody's listening knows Tyler, have him jump. Somebody remind him to jump on here, because I really want to have him on the show. I was going to give him a chance to. He's got some stuff to promote. I think he's got some projects in the works and some things going on. I was going to let him promote on here and let everybody know about, and give him an opportunity. Plus, I wanted to throw some questions at him about his experience in Morgantown and why he chose West Virginia, and also I wanted to ask him about guys sitting out bowl games. I want to ask him about NIL. I want to ask him, several things. So hopefully he'll jump on. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Sitting out bowl games is just it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I mean, I don't hate guys for it, and I understand why they want to do it. But I mean, and if they say injury is the reason, think about this. They say, okay, well, they don't want to get injured. Well, they could have gotten injured in week 8 or 9 of the season. They didn't sit that game out. I mean, for West Virginia, for example, they had no chance of winning the conference about halfway through the season, or at least, 2/3 of the way through the season. So what's next? Guys just start sitting out the second half of the season because their team has no chance of winning. I mean, to me, I'm afraid it's going to snowball into guys just not playing entire seasons at some point. You know what I mean? Or half the seasons, or whatever that may be. And I just think it's playoff expansion. I think playoff expansion could be one way to, you'll at least have more teams in the hunt, and maybe that would be less guys sitting out bowl games. I mean, if Pitt and Michigan State were competing for the college football championship, I'm sure these guys wouldn't be sitting out, right? So maybe expansion is part of the solution, at least partially. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but there's got to be something people can do to figure something out to solve the problem, because it really is becoming a problem. And I'll tell you another problem we have right now in college football, and that is all this transfer portal, man, has gotten way out of control. I mean, you got guys. I mean, it's like free agency, man, and it's just way out of control, in my opinion. Coaches leaving, before their teams are even in bowl games, is out of control. And I don't know the solution to that either. Do you have a set window when guys can enter the portal? Right? Maybe that's a solution. You have a set window when coaches can talk to other teams, and it has to be after the season's over. I don't know the answer. But that might impact when signing day occurs because the coaches have to recruit. That could be a factor. But the college football has a lot. Look, I still love it, and I still tune in to watch my Mountaineers on Saturdays and as many other games as I can squeeze into my schedule. But I do think that it has a lot of issues that need to be addressed. And the NCAA seems like they just are throwing their hands up and trying to let the individual schools and or conferences deal with it, especially when it comes to NIL and stuff. They don't want anything to do with that. Anyway, I see a few of you on here. Throw some comments in the comment box, guys. Let's get the conversation started. What do you guys think about the players sitting at bowl games and the out of control transfer portal? Do you think it's gotten out of hand? Still hoping Tyler hops on here, guys. I'm waiting on him. I've sent him the link and all the information. Hopefully he hadn't forgot about us. Or forgot about me, I guess. Guys, real quick, I want to thank everybody before I forget. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everybody for getting me to my 1,000 subscriber mark. That is the major goal that all YouTube content creators. Obviously, we want to continue. We don't want to stop at 1,000, but that is the ultimate goal that we want to reach. That's when we can start, trying to earn some money by doing YouTube. And my initial goal to make money is to obviously I want to upgrade my equipment. I want to get me a computer so I can start editing videos more efficiently. Editing videos on a phone is extremely time consuming, and sometimes extremely difficult because of the store. As most of you know, the storage on a phone can be limited, and a video takes a lot of storage. So I want to invest in a computer to do my editing. I eventually want to get me a webcam to do my videos on a webcam versus my phone. That would probably be my first. I want to get me a new microphone that would have increased my sound quality, including on these live streams. I want to. There's just a lot of things I want to do, but until I got to 1,000 subscribers, that wasn't possible. So, because I didn't want to spend a lot of money out of pocket to do it. So I appreciate all my supporters for getting me there, and but we're not done. I'll be starting a membership to my channel very soon. I hope most of you will join that. I haven't come up with the tiers yet or what it's going to cost. More to come on that. I'm just now. It's just I'm just today is when all this became available to me. So I'm not. I haven't got all the details worked out yet. But once I know, I'll let everyone know. Look out for posts on my community tab. Look out for, maybe in my videos, I'll touch on it, maybe here on live streams. I'm still planning to try to do a live stream every Monday night at either 8 or 9 p.m. I want to try to have guests on every time because I do think it's more entertaining with a guest versus me just sitting here talking to you guys through a screen. I get to talk to someone else too, and you guys get to hear other people's opinions on things. But I digress. I really appreciate everybody getting me to 1,000. Look out for the memberships. Let's just keep this thing going. I'm hoping to be able to. As you all may know, Golden Blue Dude has teamed up with Mark Rogers to start a West Virginia channel on Mark Rogers' network. There are several other teams that already had channels. Golden Blue Dude got with his sponsor, and and they decided to start a West Virginia channel. Mark Rogers agreed. So they're going to start that channel, and I'm hoping to contribute some videos and some content to that channel, which should help me get more exposure. And so, that's something I'm looking forward to being part of. And then, of course, I'm going to continue to do my own thing here. And then I've been teaming up with a guy named College Football, Jonathan Lewis. He's a Alabama fan, does a lot. He does national videos on national stuff, but does a lot on SEC mainly. I've been doing some guest appearances on his live streams, working with him a lot. Really fun to work with, and just these live streams where you have guests on, man, is a lot more fun. And I think to me personally, I think as a viewer, it's a lot more entertaining. Which, like I said, I'm supposed to have a guest on tonight, but he has not tuned in. I hope he's not punking me. I'll be honest, I'm going to be extremely upset because he's already had to back out on me once, and which is understandable because things happen. But I'm a little aggravated because we set it up for 9 o'clock, and it's 9:16, and he hasn't even responded to my message. So anyway, I digress. Y'all, please share this. If you get a chance, share this. Whoever's on here, share this. Any groups you're in or any fans you know that may want to hop on. I want to do a live call-in show. I can't do a call-in show if I don't have anybody on here. I asked my supporters I asked everybody what they wanted me to do to celebrate my 1,000, and everybody picked a call-in show. And here it is, and nobody's calling. There's not even anybody on here. The other thing I want to touch on is I'll talk about. So we talked about guys setting up bowl games. I've touched on NIL, transfer portal. The bowl game, West Virginia's bowl game against Minnesota. Most of you probably know that Minnesota hired a new offensive coordinator named Kurt Soraka, who was an analyst at WVU, an offensive analyst this season. And the way it worked is Minnesota had already started talking to Kirk and offered him the position before the bowl matchups were announced. So he basically already had the job. Then the bowl matchups were announced, and it put everybody in kind of an uncomfortable situation because Kirk Soraka and Neil Brown are really good friends. And Kirk was, obviously going over to Minnesota, and he didn't want to, for, I guess, ethical and integrity reasons, didn't want to, he has agreed not to coach the team in the bowl game, even though he is on staff already. So that's going to be a little odd. Just because he's not coaching doesn't mean he can't share trade secrets with them. So, who knows if that'll actually happen or not. So, yeah, it's interesting, though. Hopefully it doesn't put us in any disadvantage. More than likely, we're not going to be able to do anything they haven't seen already anyway on tape. They got, we got an entire season worth of tape out there, so probably won't be able to surprise them too much anyway. But it's a really interesting bowl game. I'm kind of excited for it because it's a team we've never played before. Now, Minnesota's a run-heavy team. They're extremely big up front. Their offensive line is massive. I think I read that they have one of the biggest offensive lines in the country. They're loaded with seniors up front, which is a big deal. So it's going to be a tough matchup. This could be one of the toughest matchups our defensive line has faced all season against these big, monstrous offensive linemen at Minnesota. So it'll be interesting to see how we match up with them. And then, we won't have to be able to stop the running game. Now, they got a quarterback, Tanner Morgan, who's experienced. He's either a fourth or fifth year senior. I'm not sure which. He's already announced he's coming back next year for his extra year of eligibility. But just like Jarrett Dagey, he's very experienced. But he's had a little bit of a down year this year as far as statistically. But he's been around, and he's been around. He's had some success there. Had a couple good years where he's had some good statistical seasons. But I think the way West Virginia wins this game is if they force Minnesota to pass the football, try to make them one-dimensional because that's not their strength. And also, it'll help if West Virginia can get an early lead, get up about 2 scores, and try to force Minnesota to have to throw the football. That would be ideal too. But there again, Minnesota also has a really good defense. They're a top 10 defense in almost every category. So it's going to be, including rushing. So it's going to be extremely hard for West Virginia to do that because Minnesota's defense is so dang good. I mean, they beat Wisconsin, who was a ranked team, the last game of the season. They played Ohio State really close early on. They did lose that game, but it was a really close game up until the fourth quarter. I actually watched part of that game and thought Minnesota was going to pull that game out. And then, of course, Minnesota starting running back got hurt in that game and was out the whole season. They've actually had 3 running backs get injured this year. They're down to their 3rd or 4th string running back right now. They're actually running 2 different guys a lot. They're both true freshmen. So, they've had to throw those guys into the fire a lot earlier than they wanted to. And now they've handled it well. They seem to be doing pretty well, but they haven't been thrown to the fire. But that's going to be key. We're going to have to shut that running game down and force them to throw it. And then we need to possess the ball. They're one of the top 5 in the country in time of possession. Their average time of possession is over 35 minutes a game, which is huge in a 60-minute game, obviously. So now West Virginia's is pretty good too. They're at 32 minutes a game, but they're again 35. So we need to try. So what that means is West Virginia's not going to have a lot of possessions. So West Virginia, when our offense gets the football, they got to take advantage of it and they got to score. That's all there is to it. West Virginia's got to score the football when they have it, and because they're not going to get a lot of chances more than likely with Minnesota because they love the milk clock. They're just a straight up run it down your throat, downhill, old school football team. They don't do a lot of fancy things on offense or defense for that matter. They're just a standard. Kind of reminds you of Kansas State in a way, the way Kansas State plays, or at least the way they did under Bill Snyder. They just don't do anything fancy, man, but they're just really good. They're really good. They're really fundamentally sound. They don't beat themselves, and they force you to beat them because they're not going to make a lot of mistakes. But it is going to be an interesting matchup. Now look out for tomorrow, guys. My video. I'm going to be uploading my video for the UCF Florida bowl game. I'll have it uploaded tomorrow. Which, if you're watching it, I'm doing this live video on Monday, December 20th. So it'll be uploaded on Tuesday, December 21st. So keep an eye out for that. Try to be thorough in breaking down the UCF and Florida teams and just give you an unbiased opinion on who I think wins. And so look out for that. And the Deion situation. I'd like to hear what people's thoughts are on the whole Deion Sanders taking the top recruit. What's that all about? Do you guys think that kid made the right decision? Yes or no? And do you think that Deion should have been more forthcoming with information about, how they got the kid? Because apparently, from what I'm hearing, Deion and Jackson State has signed a deal with Barstool Sports. And apparently Barstool is giving this kid like $1.5 million worth of NIL money or something like that. Which is nothing wrong with that because that's legal now. But I've heard a lot of criticism of Deion because he kind of made it sound like they got the kid because they just out recruited everybody and, because of his charm and all, which I'm not saying that's my opinion. I'm just telling you what some people are saying about the whole situation. Personally, I think he just beat them. Deion beat Florida State at their own game. They kind of let their guard down. They kind of assumed they had the kid locked down and didn't pay enough attention to him. And Jackson State came in and stole him at the end and flipped him. And, they did what they had to do to get the kid. Hopefully it was all legal and everything was, above board. So we'll see how it pans out and if Deion actually stays, because Deion's going to start getting offers. If Jackson State can start winning, keep winning, and he keeps recruiting like he does, like he's been doing, he'll get some offers from some Division I, from some FBS schools, and maybe even some Power 5 schools. And it'll be interesting to see if he takes them, because he's been preaching on, he's been very passionate about this HBCU, loyalty, and trying to build up the HBCU names and earn respect for the HBCUs. So if he just ups and leaves after a couple of years, I would kind of question whether he was just playing politics or not with that HBCU thing. But I don't, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Personally, from a performance perspective, I don't think the kid made the right decision. I think he needed to go to a bigger school where he can play against tougher competition. But if there's an NIL deal involved where he's able to transfer from Jackson State to a bigger school after a year or two and still keep his NIL money, that's a whole different ballgame. That maybe he did make the right decision for himself. He could stay at Jackson State a year or two, leave, go somewhere else to a bigger school, make money for a year or two at Jackson State under NIL, and then maybe go somewhere else and make NIL money. Without knowing the details of the deal, it's hard to really say whether he made the right decision or not as far as financially or as far as bettering himself. But as far as preparing him for the NFL standpoint, there's no way, in my mind, to think he made the right decision there, because obviously he goes to Florida State, he's in the ACC, he's going to be playing Power 5 talented players week in, week out, versus he's playing FCS level talent week in, week out. Jackson State's going to have a lot of talent Power 5 level guys on their team, but the other teams aren't going to have many, if any at all. And even at practice, he's going to be, he's not going to be playing against the best competition at practice every day either. So I don't think he made the right decision from that perspective. But financially, who knows? Like I said, I don't know what the NIL deal is going to be. It could get to the point where these kids don't even need the NFL anymore. They might be able to make so much money in college, they don't even need the NFL to get wealthy. It'll be interesting. Guys, I still haven't heard back from Tyler. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's gotten busy or something's happened. Hope everything's okay with him. But anyway, this was supposed to be a live call-in show, but nobody's apparently watching, so it ain't going to work, guys. I'm sorry. For those of you who wanted to have a live call-in show, most of you, I guess everybody's busy on Monday nights. Probably maybe not the best night to be doing a live stream. I don't know. Well, guys, I'm not going to waste everybody's time or mine, to be honest. Nobody's on here. I think I see one person on here. Tyler has not come on. So I'm going to give him a couple more minutes here to see if he makes it on. And if you're on here, guys, and you have a question, fire me a question in the comment box, man. I don't care if there's one or two, even if there's just one or two people on here, I'm willing to stay on and chat with you, but I'm running out of things to talk about, guys. I need some questions or comments or something. Shoot them my way. And who's on here, by the way? Drop it in the comments. Let me know who's on. Hey, John. What's up, man? How you doing? I'm good. Appreciate you hopping on. Everybody that's on here right now, please hit the like button for me if you don't mind. That'll help push this video out into YouTube a little bit more and hopefully get more people on. And for those of you who might just be hopping on, Tyler Sumter, the West Virginia punter, was supposed to be joining me. He has obviously yet to do so. I sent him the link to get on here. And he's I guess something's come up and he's not. But I'm still holding out, hoping he'll jump on. Yeah, John, we're almost ranked in basketball. Yeah, I know there's been a little bit of controversy around that, man. I personally don't have an issue with it, man. Our strength of schedule has been pretty low this year so far. There's teams we've played that I think we're expected to be better than they are. And that's hurt us a little bit. And but as long as these guys can keep winning, it'll take care of itself. And to be honest, I think West Virginia teams normally play better as the underdog and as the ones being disrespected, in my opinion. So again, as a couple more people jumped on, please hit the like button for me. Yeah, we should be 11-1 in men's basketball before the Texas road trip. Yes, we should be. But I'm really looking forward to Big 12 play, and it's going to be an exciting season of Big 12 play, man. Baylor's really good again. Texas is good again. Kansas is always good. You've got Iowa State's good this year, man. They're surprising some people. I can't believe how good they are. Now, I don't think they've played a lot of tough competition, but so they're probably going to start losing some games eventually. But man, I think they were picked to finish like dead last or in the conference or next to last or something. So that's been a surprise. What do you got? I want to hear what your all's opinion is on players sitting out bowl games. That's kind of my main topic for this live stream. Because I've kind of got mixed feelings on it. I understand why guys do it, but man, I think it's a little selfish, to be honest. John says month of January, several games where we have a 20% or less chance to win, but we always give Texas and Kansas trouble. Yes, we do. Yep. Yes, we do, John. Hope all of you that are on here go and subscribe to the Mark Rogers West Virginia channel. They're trying to get that off the ground and get that channel to 1,000 as fast as possible. I'm hoping to contribute a few videos to that project. Maybe do a few live streams here and there with Golden Blue Dude and Mark. Still got a lot of. I think they're still trying to iron out all the details. I'm not one of the main guys in that. I'm just going to be I guess you call it, part-time contributor. But I am looking forward to being a part of it. Because Mark has a huge audience, so it'll be some good exposure for me and for West Virginia honestly. I would like to have seen Lady Brown play, but Tony Mathis has a chance to make a statement. I agree with that, John. And that is one thing, I guess, the one positive about what's going on there with those, especially those two specifically, is I feel like Letty's kind of handing the reins over to Tony in this case. And I don't really have a problem with that, honestly, because he's trying to get Tony ready for next year. When I have a problem with it the most is like the Peach Bowl, man. Kenny Pickett and Kenneth Walker sitting out. Man, that's a New Year's Six bowl game. That's a big deal. That's supposed to be a big deal bowl game. And it really bothers me that guys are sitting out. What's up, James Green? How you doing? For you guys just hopping on, West Virginia punter Tyler Sumter is supposed to join me. I don't know if something's come up in his schedule or what, but he's yet to hop on. So, but if he doesn't, we'll just roll on without him. But I don't like it, man. I think fans buy, like I mentioned earlier, for those of you who may just be hopping on, fans buy tickets to games as soon as they go on sale. Then all of a sudden the star players start dropping out. Their tickets lose value. They can't get rid of them if they can't go. And then they might not want to go anymore if their favorite players are not playing. It just waters everything down, man. And people are eventually going to stop buying tickets to bowl games. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I blame the media to some extent for pushing the CFP so dang hard that it makes all the other bowl games meaningless. And two, maybe there's just too dang many bowl games. Honestly, maybe there just needs to be less bowl games. New Year's 6 bowl games, sit-outs almost a record pace. The Rose Bowl has several sit-outs with Ohio State and Oregon. Yeah, man, it's disheartening, man. I don't like it. I really don't like it. And it's something else that's out of control is the dang transfer portal, man. It's like it's friggin' free agency is what it is in college football. Way too. Just way too out of control. Coaches leaving, right before bowl games, and it's just nuts. John says sometimes it's players' decision, sometimes it's agents giving bad advice. Yeah, you're right, John. I think a lot of times, and I mentioned that last night. I was a guest on a college football Jonathan Lewis's live stream, and I brought it. Either me or one of the other guys brought this up. I can't remember, but yeah, a lot of these guys get people in their ear, man, and give them bad advice. And I don't know, man. It's a shame because everybody's trying to make a buck instead of trying to look at what's better for the kid or the student athlete in this case. What are you, John? You and James, if James is still on here, what's your opinion on James? Yeah, these guys are scared to get hurt. James, but they weren't scared to get hurt in week 8 or week 9 or week 10 of the season. So what's one more game, man? I mean, and the guy I was on that show with last night made a good point. How many guys that have set out bowl games have went on to have successful NFL careers? We couldn't think of one. Most of the guys who sit out bowl games seem to not do real well in the NFL. I'm not saying that has anything to do with it, but it definitely doesn't help them. I've seen no proof in the NFL of any guys where it's helped them by sitting out a bowl game. And look, like Letty Brown, for example, he's probably right on the cusp of being draftable or not, I would say. And it gives him one more chance to put a good game on tape, man, and show what he can do. Wouldn't you want that extra opportunity against good competition too? At Minnesota, a really good defense. What if he went out and had a 100-yard game, 150-yard game against one of the best defenses in the country? That would look good on his resume, I don't know, man. I don't like it. I mean, I understand it, and I don't hate guys for it necessarily. I'm not going to bash guys, and because I know it's turned into a business basically. But I don't like that. I don't like the fact that it's a business. These are supposed to be young men playing the game they love for fun, and it's not that anymore. And it's just a shame. They're scared to play bowl practices and games, but will play the East, West, and Senior Bowl for the pro scouts. Yeah, and they don't. And those games are almost just exhibitions, man. They don't even really the competition level. I don't even know how hard they go in those games, So it's I don't know. It seems to me like you'd be better served to play in the bowl, your team's bowl, against, you know what I mean, where it's more fast paced, it's more structured. And why does it not mean anything to win a bowl anymore? I mean, you get to win a trophy and bring it back and put it in your team's trophy case. Does that not mean anything anymore to these guys? I don't know, man. I guess I'm a little bit old school, and I just I feel like they're quitting on their team. I'll be honest with you. In some regards, they were saving grass for opportunities for the next level, sort of the way it is now. But John, I understand that, man, but what's one game? It's one game. It's not a season. It's one game. I don't think they're saving that many reps by playing one game. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, I respect everybody's opinion and I understand it. But the more I think about it, man, the more I don't like it. And I know, and it's one of the reasons I want Tyler Sumter on here. I saw him put out a tweet the other day. He doesn't think it's selfish at all for guys to do it. And I was going to ask him about that and get his take on it because I'm open to change my opinion. Because like I said, I've kind of been waffling on this topic for the last few years. I've kind of seen both sides, but it seems like the more I talk to people and I've never really had strong convictions either way, I guess is the best way to put it. And I wanted to get Tyler's thoughts on it as to why he feels the way he feels about it. John just playing. Oh, I know, John. No, I get it, man. I appreciate that. I like playing devil's advocate because it makes me think. Nothing wrong with that. James Green, you know that when the team wins, they want that ring. Yep, exactly. And I don't know. What's up? What's up, Jonathan Lewis? My guest has not arrived. For those of you who are on here wanting to see, hear what my guest has to say, he has not arrived and has not answered my message. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully everything's okay on his end. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. We were talking about guys sitting at bowl games, Jonathan Lewis, and I know you and I have talked about that before. I don't like it, and I know I was actually telling JPC, an outlaw of college football, who's another YouTuber you guys need to check out. I was telling him, talking to him today through message, and told him, I've kind of changed my mind on it. I didn't used to have an issue with it, but the more I talk to people and hear both sides, I'm now kind of leaning towards the side that I don't like it, and I think it's a bad idea, and it needs to stop, and it needs to be stopped. It just because it's basically it's almost ruining bowl season. I was really excited to watch that Michigan State Pitt game, and now I don't even care if I watch it or not. To be straight up honest with you, because I wanted to watch Kenny Pickett and Kenneth Walker. I don't even know the names of the other guys on the team. So why would I tune in to watch that game? I mean, I may still watch it because I love college football, but I'm definitely not going to be as excited as I was. And it's just disappointing, man. Not sure Pitt is going to win the ACC every win. They should have been trying their best to win that kind of game. John, to be honest, I don't understand what you're saying there, buddy. I think you may have I think spell check may have got you on something. Until the playoff is expanded, only 4 teams are in the games. Oh, yeah, I agree, John. That's one of the good things about expanding the playoffs is you'll have more teams vying for that championship and hopefully less guys sitting out. James Green, he might have opted out too. What? Who might have opted out, James? John Kelly, New Year's 6 bowls. Yeah, I agree, John. Yep, it's definitely watered down the bowls, buddy. And it's just, I don't like it. It's a bad look. Now, I want to get you guys' opinion, John and James, anybody on here. What is your opinion on the Deion Sanders situation? Do you think the kid made the right decision by going to Jackson State? What do you think about that whole situation? Oh, James said my guess might have opted out. I guess he did, bro. He entered the he was committed to me, but he's decided to take his talent somewhere else. Oh, that's funny. It's not, it wouldn't be that big a deal had I not spent time creating the cover art and everything for my thumbnail and everything with his picture on it as him as my guest for the show. And oh well, it's all good. You live and learn, man. Live and learn. I think it works out either way. He can always transfer immediately and not see it if it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of been my thing, Jonathan. Especially depending on what kind of NIL deal he signed, if he can take that NIL deal with him, if it's like a national deal, not a local deal, or if it expires after a year or two, and he can go where he wants. And I think that's the thing with these instant transfer rules. It's guys aren't they can, if they make the wrong decision coming into college, hey, play a year and then hit the portal, Or heck, you don't even have to play a year. You can hit the portal in the middle of the season if you want to. So it's so yeah. I mean, I don't have an issue with the kid making it. I don't necessarily think he made the right decision for himself. But he can always drop back and punt, so to speak. No pun intended. I don't blame Deion for trying to get the best players he can get. I don't either, John. I blame Florida State. Number one, Florida State could have hired Deion Sanders to be a coach, and they did not. Matter of fact, I think from what I hear, some of them even laughed about it, thought it was even funny to even suggest it. And you don't think Deion Sanders remembered that? Deion Sanders is a competitive dude, and I'm sure he don't like being laughed at and being looked down upon, or and I'm sure he took it a little personal, and he probably wanted to kind of stick a fork or poke a stick into Florida State. FSU shouldn't complain about it. They still have I know they do, and that's why I don't understand why their fans are so up in arms about it. I actually did a video on it. Some of you may have watched it before. I actually pulled it down because I misspoke in there about something, and I didn't want to put out inaccurate information, so I took it down because I don't want to ruin my credibility by saying something that's not even true. But anywho, Florida State fans are crying, man, and it's just ridiculous how they're overreacting to this whole situation. You lose one recruit. I mean, come on. It happens every year. James Green, he might have the competition will hurt him. I agree. That's what I think too, man. I mean, wouldn't he want to play against the best to prepare for the next level? They could have hired Deion on exactly, John. They could have, and they didn't. I heard through the grapevine that they wouldn't hire him because he didn't. I guess he never got his degree, and they wouldn't hire him because he didn't have a degree. Does he have to have a degree to coach football when he's played the game and been around it his whole life? I mean, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying Deion's a great coach. I don't know that we know that yet. He's a great recruiter, obviously. But, how good of a coach is he? I think the verdict's still out. Obviously, losing that bowl game the other day didn't bode well for him. But, he's not been doing it that long. So I'm sure he's still learning. And I'm sure he'll, try to improve and fix his mistakes and do better. But I don't think it'll be long before Deion Sanders gets a shot at the – I mean, if Deion played his cards right, man, he could come in, just be a figurehead, be a CEO type coach, hire really good assistant coaches, let them run your team, and he could just go out and recruit, and bring in the best players in the country, and potentially be successful that way. He wouldn't have to do it. He probably wouldn't even have to do a whole lot of hands-on coaching, and he could still be really successful if he surrounds himself with the right people. Burning jerseys is ridiculous. He gave them loyal service. I agree, man. It doesn't make sense to me, but you know how fans are. The kid made a choice that he might regret. I agree, James. He may regret it, but like Jonathan said earlier, if he does regret it, he can always transfer after a year and hit the portal and go somewhere else. I guess that's one advantage to that portal is the fact that kids, when 18-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids are prone to make bad decisions. So if they make a bad decision to go to the wrong school, they can correct it by going somewhere else the following year. It's up to the college if it requires a degree, but to fair, the dude had zero experience. I agree with it. I'm not saying they should have hired him, Jonathan. I'm not saying they should have hired him, but then to turn around and degrade the guy or down talk the guy because he's out recruiting you when you had it, you know what I'm saying? It's what I'm saying is it's fair game, man. It's every man for himself in the recruiting world. As long as it's done legally and ethically, may the best man win, so to speak. That's the way I look at it. And he won. So, what do you guys think about shoot? Oh, let's see what John said. There's a supercharged hatred in fan bases right now, as we know all too well at WU, but it's all sports and all levels now. I know, John. there's just such, and I don't want to get too far off topic here, but man, there's just such a negative attitude in general in the human population today. It's actually kind of sad, to be honest. And it filters into sports, man. You got something that ain't even that significant, to be honest. I mean, we're here talking about this because we like it, we love, but it's a game, and you got people out here that threatening to kill people over missing a field goal, or I mean, it's just the moral fabric of society is decaying around us, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm not going to get off on a social soapbox, but and I think that's where a lot of it comes from. I think a lot of people are just bitter and pessimistic people, man, and and they spew it out on everybody else. And it's sad. It really is. I kind of feel for those people, to be honest with you. And look, I get emotional about my sports teams too, but I've never taken it so far as to threaten to kill somebody or say somebody needs to wish somebody get hurt. You see that a lot now, man. I'm like, man, why in the world would you ever wish harm on another human being just because he's messed up in a sport that, number one, most of us couldn't do what he's doing, and yet we still want to bash him for it. It makes no sense to me, man. We sit on our couch getting fat, eating chips and drinking beer, watching these cats go out here and play their butts off, and all we want to do is talk crap about them. I don't know. It's hard to criticize them. I'm not saying we can't criticize them, but it goes too far, way too far. And why? Plus, just common sense. Why in the world would you want to spend your hard-earned money on a $200 jersey and then burn it? I mean, that doesn't make. That's just not very smart. Did you see what the Saban implemented for the football game against Cincy? Back to COVID-19 protocols. 75% of basketball games have been canceled the past 2 days, and no one's speaking about it. Oh man, what did I didn't see what Saban implemented, Jonathan? What's going on, buddy? I knew that COVID. I've been hearing what's going on in the NBA. I've kind of heard about that, but I haven't really heard what's going on in college football on it. Deion should try to join Nick Saban to get more training like the other coaches have done. You know what, James? That would be very wise, in my opinion, for him to do that. Same fans adored Deion years ago. Need more love and good feelings nowadays. Ha ha. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree, man. Okay, Tyler just responded to me, so he might be coming on. We'll see. I hope he does, because I'm really looking forward to chatting with him. Everybody hit the like button for me if you haven't yet, please. Get this spread out through the YouTube algorithm. What did Saban implement, Jonathan Lewis? Yeah, I'm worried about. I know locally here in West Virginia, man, my daughter has already had 3 games canceled. Like 2 or 3 week time frame. We're going to be lucky to get the season in. They going back to strict COVID protocols, no contact between players for 12 hours and limiting meetings. It's college basketball, not NBA. Well, there's been some stuff going on in the NBA too, I think, man. But yeah, it is college too. That's right. You're right. But the new punter we're getting, he can kick with both feet and do a lot of lateral movement and placement of the ball. Yeah, John, I heard about that, man. They said he can punt rugby style. He can punt a spiral. He can punt it end over end. He can kick with both feet. He can do anything you want him to do, and that is a huge asset to have on your team, in my opinion. Sorry, guys. I'm messaging Tyler to see if he's coming on or not. Australia has a getting skill set for the kicking game. Yeah, they do. They got that pro kick training academy over there that trains punters, and they put some awesome dudes in the. This will be our second one we've had in the last few years. I can punt a Frito pie in my belly. Me too. Crazy talent to do all that. I know, dude. It's amazing. I mean, I can't punt football the normal way, much less trying to do it with my left foot. It's nuts. What are we getting with a new Clemson back who transferred in? From what I'm hearing about him, Trey, he's very shifty. He's going to be the shiftiest back we have, potentially the fastest back we have in the room. Most of our other backs are downhill runners. This guy is going to be able to make people miss in space a lot better. That's what I'm hearing about the kid. So I'm excited about it. He's going to give Tony Mathis and Justin Johnson some good competition. That's for sure. We're letting some players from the portal. Yeah, and I know Coach Brown, anytime he gets a commitment from a player, he always tweets out, "Let's go." And he tweeted that out a couple hours ago, and I haven't heard yet who it is. Did that quarterback kid, they were looking at the Jeter kid, the 2023 quarterback. It was down to us in Kentucky, and he was supposed to pick today at 6 o'clock. So I'm kind of assuming he picked us because Coach Brown put that tweet out. If anybody's on here and knows the answer to that, I'd love to know. But if we're beating out an SEC school for a quarterback, that's a pretty big deal in my opinion, even though it is Kentucky. Sorry, I didn't mean to put that off the air. Seen Nico play. He's a stud and loves playing. Yes, he does, Trey. He loves football, man. He came to West Virginia. That's awesome. So now we got Nico coming in, and now we're going to have this other kid, the Jeter kid, coming. I'm going to have to do some more research on the Jeter kid because I haven't studied up on him yet. So I'm going to have to do some research. I think over 20 players so far have came. Now, John, you talking about total or you talking about this season? Because we haven't had that. I don't think we've had that many come in this season. We've had that many leave, almost. But I mean, over the course of a couple seasons. But total, yeah. We have brought a bunch of guys in, and we've done really good. We've had good guys come in. Tony Fields. We've had obviously Jared Dagey was a portal guy. Austin Kendall was a portal guy. I'm trying to think of some guys that were, that really played well for us. The Bigelow kid from Clemson a couple years back. Slovis transfer from USC is looking like he's going to be their first QB we see next year going to Pitt. Man, is that confirmed, Trey, or is that just rumor? Portal's hitting everyone. 2,000 players are in the portal and growing. No, John, it's crazy. And everybody gets up in arms about these guys leaving, but, about less than 30% of the guys who leave, who enter the portal, actually transfer to another Power 5 school. Majority of the guys, like 70% of them, are guys who actually transfer to a smaller school so they get more playing time, which is totally understandable, to be honest. I'm hearing it's between them and staying there. Okay. Well, I hope he stays there, to be honest. But I don't want to have to play him next year. All right, guys. I don't know what's going on. Tyler messaged me back, but his message didn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know what his plan is. But heck, we can still do a call in. Does anybody wants to call in? I can shoot you the number. And Notre Dame. Okay, he's looking at Notre Dame as well, huh? Yeah, I read the safety is going down to a G5 school. You talking about Kerry Martin, John? Because he's going to Akron. I read that today. Kerry Martin. He's actually the one that caused the controversy that got Vic Canning fired. Any chance Dante Steele stays another year? No, he's gone, Jeremy. I'm pretty sure he's leaving. He is playing in the bowl game though, which I'm happy about. Trey says, I don't know if you do, but there's another guy, Hold Blue Dude, who I follow for a lot of my sports along. Yeah, Trey, Golden Blue Dude and I have done a couple of things together. We share a lot of viewers. And then he and I are actually he's working with Mark Rogers. If you're familiar with Mark Rogers, he has started Golden Blue Dude along with his sponsor have teamed up with Mark Rogers to do a West Virginia channel as part of Mark Rogers' network. And they've asked me to, be a part of that and contribute some videos to it occasionally. And I'm going to try my best to do that. I'm not, I can't commit to doing a lot because I've got to concentrate on my own channel, but I told them I would try to do, maybe a video a month or something for them, and maybe do a few live streams here and there with them to help increase my exposure. Because Mark Rogers has a huge following, so we're hoping we can kind of glean some of that from him. And but anyway, but yes, I am aware. Golden Blue Dude and Joey Foster and Sam the Man, all 7 guys marked too. Yeah, and I've done some stuff with Sam the Man as well. Actually, Sam the Man is actually a local guy to me, and he and I actually went to high school together and played football together in high school. Not really, we never hung out a lot or anything, but we do know each other and like and respect each other. And he and I have done a few videos together, as most of you probably know. But Sam's a bit, like he and I both have full-time jobs, so it's kind of tough sometimes to get our schedules to work out. Interesting Patterson to Texas thoughts. Yeah, I know. I read that yesterday. He's going to be an analyst. But an analyst. What I found out about these analyst positions, it's head coaches who get fired or lose their jobs or leave jobs. They often go to these analyst positions, basically as a just to keep them busy and keep them working until they find their next job. I mean, that's it. My guess is Gary Patterson will end up being a defensive coordinator somewhere. Not that, maybe in 2023. That's kind of my. I don't know if he'll be a head coach again at his age. Maybe he will. Somebody might give him a chance. Probably should give him a chance. I think he's still a good coach, but it seems like there's a big movement now that these teams are hiring much younger coaches. I don't know the reason behind that. Maybe just because they relate to the players better. I don't know, but I do think he'll end up being a defensive coordinator somewhere. If not even in Texas, maybe. Who knows? He'd be a great addition to a staff. Definitely. I think Tyler and I had our time zones messed up, guys. I think he thought it was 9 o'clock Central Time. So Trey Sargent says, could we bring him in? Yeah, I mean, I guess we could, but he's probably going to want to go somewhere. I don't know that we can pay him. I mean, we already, number one, I don't know where Jeff Castile is going to go because he's a defensive analyst for us right now. I don't know if he's going to stay on with us or not, but Jordan Leslie's our defensive coordinator. And I honestly I kind of like Jordan. I think he's done a good job, so I really don't want to lose him. but he wouldn't. It would be pretty cool to bring Patterson on as an analyst, but or a assistant. But I just don't think we'd be able to pay him. I mean, he was making like $6 million a year at TCU. So I just don't see it, to be honest. It'd be nice, though. I'd love for us to have him on staff because he's one of the brightest defensive minds in football. I mean, look at the success he's had at TCU. John, oh, what the heck did I just do? Lord have mercy. I got my zoomed up to 300% on my screen. Couldn't see nothing. All right, John. I think WVU has done good preparation for Minnesota. I know I've been criticized for being a homer. I just have a good feeling with Bowles under Coach Brown. He seems to be good. He is. He's 4-0 in bowl games. I mean, that you can't argue with his record, including the 3 at Troy and 1 here. And West Virginia can win the game, John. I just feel like it's a really bad matchup for us, to be honest. Every team we've played this year who's had a really good offensive line and a really good running game has we've struggled against. Oklahoma State Iowa State had that, and we still beat them, but that's kind of the one-off. But Baylor and Iowa State, or Baylor and Oklahoma State, are 2 examples of teams with really good defenses and really good offensive lines and really good running games, and both of those teams whooped our butts. So I worry about the matchup. He did good coaching with the Army. He did. He did a really good coaching job in that game. PJ Fleck is one of the most underrated coach, and he's gotten Ibrahim one of the best Big Ten rushers. Yeah, he does. And I don't know. Ibrahim, as far as I know, is still out. Trey, if you know something different, man, because he got hurt in the Ohio State game and was out. They said he'd be out the rest of the season. So I'm assuming he won't play in the bowl game. But if you know something different, man, let me know. NHL just put their season on hold. Have a feeling this could affect college ball, and that would suck. Yeah, man. It really would, buddy. What would people like you and me talk about if there's no games? Definitely makes it tough. A lot of the WV sports people like Jed Ring and Tony Cree think this is our first full class coming in since Dana left, so I just hope in time he will compete. And, John, that's kind of true because his first year here, Neil's first year here, he came in January. So most of the class had already signed before Dana left. So basically all he had to do that year, his main job was just to try to keep everybody that had signed on board. Well, year 2 last year was a COVID year. And so they weren't able to do in-home visits. They weren't able to do official visits on campus. And they also, didn't have a full recruiting cycle is 2 years. And they didn't have 2 years because, like I said, the first year they were not here till January. And then, so this year, yeah, he's had a full 2 years to recruit these kids this year finally for the first time. I think that's probably what they meant by that. And I think that will pay dividends for us. That's why another reason, for the part of the fan base that says he should be fired, I think they just don't understand. Not that I'm some genius, but a lot of people don't follow it as closely as people like you and I do, John. But it takes a full 2 to 3 years to recruit a kid, man. You don't recruit a kid overnight or even in a year. They start recruiting these kids in the 9th and 10th grade now. And he's not been here long enough to do that yet until this year. So that's the reason you don't build a program that was depleted with depth in 2 to 3 years. You just don't, especially not us. I mean, if you can get 5-star players maybe, but we can't. So it's different. We have to develop guys. According to Rivals, we had our best recruiting class ever. Yes, I agree. I agree, John. I'm thinking it's our best in history, period, isn't it? Not just since Pat White. Jeremy Carlin, it's great to see we already have a couple commits for 2023. I trust the climb. Absolutely. How about Zappy from Western? Man, that those stats are out. unbelievable, man. What grade's that kid in, by the way? I haven't looked that up because it wouldn't surprise me if he's got more eligibility. He might. I'm surprised he don't enter the portal and go to a bigger school. But that kid's stats are unreal. What's up, Big Blue? What's up, Crypt Keeper? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for hopping on. John Kelly, 25th under Rich Rod. Some publications has at 32, average in upper 20s. Cool. Thanks for that information, John. I wasn't aware. I'll be honest with you. Recruiting has never been something I follow extremely closely. I mean, obviously I keep up with it as a fan, but I've never really looked real deep into the details and previous, his previous classes and all that stuff. It's never been my strong suit. But obviously now that I do this, I'm going to have to do it more often. And I do find it interesting as I dig into the numbers and stuff. And that doesn't count the transfers exactly, John. Trey says transferee in from Boise State, and he's a senior, but he may still have his extra year. Who's the one from Boise State, Trey? I haven't heard about him. I'll be honest. I had to work today, obviously, my regular job, and then I spent my entire afternoon or evening, rather, making and editing a video for tomorrow. So, and putting this together, putting this live stream together. So I have not had a chance to get online and see what the news of the day is. So if anybody wants to share that with me. Oh, Zappy, yeah. Transferring from Boise State. Okay, I got you. I wasn't aware of that. Makes sense. But I bet Boise State sure wish they'd have kept that kid. Thanks, Trey, for that, man. I was totally confused. I'm still messaging Tyler, guys, to see if he's hopping on or not. I don't know what's going on. He had the wrong time zone, apparently, but I still told him he could still hop on if he wanted to. But whether if he's coming or not, I have no idea. No idea. Guys, if anybody wants to call in, let me know. I'll let you call. I'll shoot you the number. It's totally up to you. I did advertise this as a call-in show, so I'm gonna see if I can make it work. W not ranked in NCAA football with Villanova 7-4, 23rd. I'm assuming you're talking about basketball, Trey, but yeah, I know, man. I don't understand how Villanova's still ranked, man. That goes to show that AP rankings are pretty much pointless, man. Yeah, basketball. Yeah, I knew what you meant, but yeah, it's AP rankings are pretty much. We're 11-1, not even ranked. Just have beaten beaten a top 15 team and UAB, who was a lot of people are picking to go to the NCAA tournament, and we're still not ranked. And yet you got Villanova sitting at 7-4, who got what they scored less than 20 points, I think, against Baylor the other night. I mean, or less than 30. I mean, in a whole game, and they're still ranked. I don't even pay attention to it anymore, to be honest. I know Golden Blue did a video. He's all up in arms about it, but none of this. It doesn't even matter at this point. The conference play hasn't even started yet. If we can, when we start conference play, our strength of schedule is going to skyrocket. So if we can, we're going to be playing teams like Baylor, Iowa State, Texas, teams that are ranked pretty high, Kansas. If we can beat some of those teams, man, then we'll start getting ranked. That's when I'll start paying attention to the rankings. Shot 19% with 36 points. I know, Trey, and they're still ranking them, man. It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Did Coach Huggins handle his business with that Oscar kid? Crypt Keeper, what ended up happening there? Oscar came out later that day or the next day and said and clarified with his comments. Apparently, he said that Coach Huggins did not directly threaten to ruin his career. He only said that if he told Oscar if he transferred, he would be ruining his career. He didn't threaten to ruin his career. He told Oscar, he's basically, if you transfer, it's going to ruin your career. That's not a threat. That was just his opinion. And then also the stuff he claims Huggins said about the weed and the girls and all that. He's claiming that was all hearsay from other people. He didn't actually hear Huggins say that. And it was people around the West Virginia program saying it, not Huggins specifically. So that article had all the. So I don't know if the guy who wrote the article was completely wrong and misquoted Oscar, which wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, or if Oscar. Keep in mind Oscar doesn't speak really great English. At least he didn't used to. So, there could have been some communication barrier there that caused it to get misconstrued and miscommunicated. The national media is slow to react to surprises. Yeah, you're right. Oscar rolled back what he said, tried to bury it. Yep, he did. And like I said, I don't know if Oscar actually said those things and the media or if he didn't and the media got it wrong. I don't know. Exactly, John. He's never done. And Huggins is not going to. I mean, Huggins is the type of guy that he just moves on. He'll play with the guys he's got. He's not going to spend time worrying about a guy that don't want to be there. That's the thing. Yeah, he doesn't want to. I mean, you don't want to be there. Don't be. He'll just find somebody else and go play with somebody else. That's just his mentality, man. Yeah, man, this COVID stuff is getting bad. I'm really concerned. I'm like Jonathan. I'm concerned that it's going to cause us everything to get shut down. It's another reason I wouldn't mind having Tyler on to see what West Virginia's doing right now. I wish he'd hop on here. Still like to hear from him, even if he is late. Hug said Taz's going to have to score almost 30 a game. We're going to have to shoot a heck of a lot better from the free throw to beat better Kansas and Iowa State, who he says are the top three teams. Yeah. Trey, I'll be honest, I didn't even get to watch that game because we had family in for Christmas. We were doing Christmas with my wife's family out of state. So, and I wasn't going to punk them to go watch the game. And I haven't. So unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it. But I was keeping track of the score and all. And I did catch up with some post game coverage. And apparently Kedrian Johnson played really well in that game. And Taz, I think, came on second half and scored a bunch, didn't he? Yeah, Kerrigan and Polycap's playing well too, I think. Yeah, so is Polycap. Yeah, John, you and I are thinking alike. But yeah, Hugs seem to be. He's still not. I mean, they're obviously still not playing well, but they're still finding ways to win with their defense mainly. But just making shots. Making shots when they have to. I guess at least Taz and McNeil are. Got 17 people on here, guys. Everybody hit that like button for me. Get some people on here. And like I said, guys, if you want to call in to the show, because I did put a poll out and asked how to celebrate 1,000. They said do a call-in show. This is it, but nobody has stepped up to say they want to call, which is fine. But I just want to make sure you guys don't miss the opportunity if you want to. If you don't, no big deal. We'll just keep doing this. He's going to try and get Seth Wilson a lot of playing time Wednesday. I hope so. Those guys, we need to get those guys ready for when we hit that Big 12 gauntlet. Is it cold in West Virginia tonight? It's cold in southern West Virginia today, a.k.a. Myrtle Beach. I hear you, Crib Keeper. Yeah, that's the West Virginia, the South, man. It is, as we speak. I know it was about 30 this morning, but let me pull up the temperature now. It is 30 degrees. as we speak, and it's going to be the low is going to be 28 tonight. So yes, it is cold. John says it's 26 at his house. So yeah, it's upper 20s, low 30s, Crypt Keeper. Not good. Wasn't fancy. Johnson made a few nice runners and hit some layups and key free throws. Yeah, and he played great defense, from what Huggins was saying. Says his defense was the difference in the game. .24 in Preston, West Virginia. It's 26 in Princeton, West Virginia. I mean 30. I said 26. It's 30. 30 in Princeton, West Virginia. All right, guys. Well, listen. If anybody got anything else you want to talk about, I'm game. I can hang on another 10 minutes or so. If you want to keep it going. John says I'm about 4 miles from the western slopes of the Allegheny Mountains. Okay. I know about where you are, John, but not the exact locale. But I know the area. Travel up that way once in a blue moon for work. Too bad Deuce didn't stay. Boy, I know, man. Imagine if we had him this year, how good we'd be. Think about it. And Culver, too. Culver could have come back. Matters if we still had those guys back, man. We'd be hard to beat, man. Hard with Taz scoring the ball the way he is, which we wouldn't be relying on Taz as much if we had Deuce, but hey, man, I think we'd be competing for a Big 12 title, no doubt. Smash the like button. Smash it. Smash it hard, guys. Yeah, we got a lot of young guys and moving parts. Yes, we do. And with guys, and even though we've got some veterans, we have 3 veterans that have only been on the team a year because they're all transfers. So it's Polycap, Kerrigan, and Curry. But they're all contributing, man. They're all bought in. They're all Mountaineers, and they're in it to win it, man. And I love it. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. But I do miss the days of having guys for 3 or 4 years where you really get to watch them play, 30, 25, 30 games a year, and for 3 or 4 years, and you almost get attached to these guys, man, over time, and we're missing that in today's sports world, college sports. A guy for me who's got to step up, old neighbor Jalen. Yeah, he's got to, man. And he put out on his Twitter, I don't know, a few days ago that he's going to get it fixed. He's going to fix it. That he's not himself, and he's going to get it fixed. So we'll see. I got faith in the kid. I think he's just going through a slump for whatever reason. But I think he'll snap out of it. I really do. Jalen has struggled a bit with his game. Yes, he has. But like I said, he'll snap out of it. Trey, John, I appreciate everybody that's on right now. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I really do. I apologize. Things didn't work out with my guest. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I did tell him Eastern time. But it does get confusing when you're in different time zones because it's very easy because you schedule everything around your time zone. So I guess for whatever reason, he had in his mind that it was 9 o'clock Central time because I think he's in Alabama right now, back home. So he's probably in Central time, and he probably thought it was 9 o'clock Central time. So I apologize for that, guys. It was just a miscommunication. His shot is near the baseline. If he can hit a couple of those a game, would raise the points per game. Yes, I agree. And Trey says finally out rebounded the team. Yeah, Trey, that was nice to see, man. I think that's the first one this year, or at least the first one in several games anyway. That's been one of Huggins' biggest. It's really gotten in his crawl, man, that we're not rebounding the ball well. For sure. For sure. You may got anything, guys? If you ain't got anything else, I'm gonna hop off of here. We've been on here almost an hour and a half. Sorry about, like I said, I apologize again if the guest thing didn't work out. Just a miscommunication on the time zone thing. But I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to do a live stream every Monday night around 8. I had to move this one to 9, but either 8 or 9 every Monday night. I'm going to try my best to do a live stream. So, if you duck live streams, keep that on your calendar. Keep that in the back of your mind. Tell anybody you know. Advertise it for me so we can get some more people on these. I'm trying to do my live stream when people like Golden Blue Dude and those others are not. That's why I picked Monday night at this time. Because those guys typically aren't doing live streams during this time. So I tried to pick a time where nobody else had already had that time picked, so more people would have a chance to jump on. It's okay, man. You do a great job for doing what you do, my friend. Thank you, John. I appreciate it, man. Couldn't do it without you guys. Tonight on pregame show, Jay Jacobs said Hugs loves when John Higgins riffs his game. And his response, I don't like it, and he does because he hears me. Yeah, I think they do have a pretty good relationship. I know fans don't like Higgins, but the last game I saw him ref for us, one game last year, he actually called a really good game. I think it was a Texas Tech game last year when I actually thought he called a really good game. He's not a bad ref. I think it's just been kind of coincidence that there's been some bad controversial calls in games that he's refereed. But I think overall he's actually one of the best refs in the country. If you talk to the coaches and like the people like Tony Caridi and the analysts, they say he's one of the best out there. Was in Lubbock. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That it was a Texas Tech game in Lubbock. But look, guys, I appreciate y'all hopping on here tonight. I appreciate all your support for getting me to that 1,000 mark. Yeah, I'm not. ESPN Plus sucks, John, but that's the world we're moving to, man. Unfortunately, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere because that's streaming is where everybody's cutting the cord now, man. So, but listen, I'm gonna hop off here, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate everything. Q Country Roads. Good night.